The quaint town of Ashwood, nestled amidst rolling hills and whispering willows, was known for its tranquility, a place where children played freely and neighbors knew each other by name. But on a stormy November evening, a chilling silence descended upon Ashwood, replacing the usual symphony of crickets and rustling leaves. Sonia Ryan, a beloved schoolteacher known for her warmth and infectious laughter, vanished without a trace. The last anyone had seen of Sonia was at the local library where she was a regular visitor. She had stopped by to return a stack of books, her smile as bright as ever, before disappearing into the stormy night. When she didn't show up for work the next day, concern quickly turned into alarm. Frantic calls were made, search parties were organized, but Sonia remained elusive. Days turned into weeks, and the once peaceful town was gripped by fear and uncertainty. The relentless media coverage only amplified the growing unease. Theories ran rampant, from a voluntary disappearance to something far more sinister. Amidst the speculation and despair, one thing remained tragically clear: Sonia Ryan was gone. The investigation into Sonia's disappearance was led by Detective Michael Hayes, a seasoned investigator known for his sharp instincts and unwavering determination. Hayes, a man of few words but immense empathy, felt the weight of the town's expectations on his shoulders. Detective, as Hayes, I vowed to leave no stone unturned in my pursuit of the truth. The initial investigation proved frustratingly fruitless. Sonia's apartment yielded no signs of a struggle or forced entry. Her phone records revealed nothing out of the ordinary, and her financial transactions were unremarkable. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. As days turned into weeks, the pressure on Detective Hayes and his team intensified. The lack of leads fueled public speculation and criticism. The media, sensing a gripping narrative, descended upon Ashwood, their cameras capturing every twist and turn of the investigation. Detective Hayes, determined to break the case wide open, decided to revisit Sonia's last known movements. He meticulously retraced her steps from the library, hoping to find something, anything, that could shed light on her disappearance. Detective as Hayes. Surveillance footage from the library showed Sonia leaving alone, her demeanor calm and collected. She walked with purpose, her umbrella shielding her from the rain. But as Hayes scrutinized the footage, he noticed a shadowy figure lurking in the background. The figure, barely discernible in the grainy footage, seemed to be watching Sonia as she left the library. Was it just a coincidence, or was there a more sinister explanation? Hayes's instincts told him this was a lead worth pursuing. The shadowy figure from the surveillance footage became Detective Hayes's primary focus. He spent countless hours analyzing the footage, trying to enhance the image and identify the individual. Local witness as Sarah Miller. I contacted the police after recognizing the jacket worn by the figure in the enhanced image. It belonged to my estranged husband, Mark, a man with a history of violence. Mark Miller quickly became the prime suspect in Sonia's disappearance. His violent past and his presence near the library on the night of Sonia's disappearance made him a compelling person of interest. Detective Hayes knew he had to tread carefully, as any misstep could jeopardize the investigation. The investigation into Mark Miller's potential involvement in Sonia Ryan's disappearance was complex and multifaceted. Detective Hayes and his team worked tirelessly, pursuing every lead and meticulously gathering evidence. The weight of their task was immense as the town of Ashwood held its breath for answers. Forensic experts descended upon Mark Miller's residence, searching for any trace of Sonia or any evidence linking him to her disappearance. We meticulously combed through his belongings, analyzing fibers, hairs, and any other trace evidence that could provide a connection. The forensic investigation yielded a crucial piece of evidence. A strand of Sonia's hair was found in the trunk of Mark Miller's car. The discovery sent shockwaves through the investigation, providing a tangible link between the suspect and the missing woman. The case against Mark Miller was growing stronger. As the investigation into Mark Miller continued, Detective Hayes decided to delve into the suspect's past. He believed that understanding Miller's history might hold the key to unraveling the mystery of Sonia's disappearance. The past, Hayes knew, often casts a long shadow on the present. As Detective Hayes, Miller's past was a troubled one, marked by anger issues and a tendency towards violence. He had a history of domestic abuse, with multiple restraining orders filed against him by former partners. His pattern of behavior was chillingly consistent. Interviews with Miller's former neighbors and acquaintances painted a picture of a man who was easily angered and prone to fits of rage. They described him as controlling and manipulative, someone who instilled fear in those around him. The more Hayes learned about Mark Miller, the more convinced he became that he was responsible for Sonia's disappearance. The mounting evidence against Mark Miller cast a heavy shadow over him. The once quiet town of Ashwood, now consumed by the mystery of Sonia Ryan's disappearance, viewed him with suspicion and fear. The weight of their collective gaze was suffocating. Despite the growing case against him, Mark Miller maintained his innocence. As Detective Hayes, he denied any involvement in Sonia's disappearance, claiming he had been out of town on the night she vanished. His alibi, however, was weak and unsubstantiated. I knew that Miller was a master manipulator. Detective Hayes, a seasoned interrogator, had anticipated Miller's denials and was prepared to dismantle his carefully constructed facade. The interrogation room became a battleground of wits, with Hayes patiently chipping away at Miller's defenses. The breakthrough in the case came from an unexpected source: DNA evidence. Forensic analysts, working tirelessly to connect the dots, had been analyzing the trace evidence collected from Mark Miller's car and residence. Their meticulous work paid off. Forensic expert, as herself, DNA analysis of the strand of hair found in Miller's trunk confirmed that it belonged to Sonia Ryan. Furthermore, traces of soil found on Miller's boots matched the soil composition near the riverbank where Sonia's scarf had been discovered weeks earlier. The DNA evidence, combined with the soil analysis and Miller's shaky alibi, painted a damning picture. The prosecution, armed with a mountain of evidence, felt confident in their case against Mark Miller. The trial, they believed, would finally bring justice for Sonia Ryan. The trial of Mark Miller was a media spectacle, captivating the nation and bringing the small town of Ashwood into the national spotlight. The prosecution, led by the formidable district attorney Catherine O'Brien, presented a compelling case, methodically laying out the evidence against Miller. Journalist, as himself, the defense, however, fought tooth and nail, attempting to cast doubt on the prosecution's case. They argued that the evidence was circumstantial and that the police, desperate for a conviction, had tunnel-visioned on Mark Miller, ignoring other potential suspects. The jury, tasked with the immense responsibility of deciding Mark Miller's fate, listened intently as both sides presented their arguments. They deliberated for days, carefully weighing the evidence and the testimonies they had heard. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. After days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict: guilty. Mark Miller was found guilty of the kidnapping and murder of Sonia Ryan. A collective gasp filled the courtroom as the verdict was read, followed by a wave of relief and a sense of closure for Sonia's loved ones. The verdict sent a clear message that even in a world where evil sometimes lurks in the shadows, justice can prevail. The tireless efforts of law enforcement, the dedication of the prosecution team, and the courage of those who came forward with information had ensured that Sonia's story would not be forgotten. The Sonia Ryan case had a profound impact on the small town of Ashwood. It served as a stark reminder that even in the safest of havens, darkness can lurk. Yet it also highlighted the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering pursuit of justice. The case would forever be etched in the town's memory, a testament to the enduring power of hope and the triumph of good over evil.